Happy Monday. Stick with us as we talk about being you and being amazing. Speaking of amazing, it's only been how many years of me doing these live streams now? Actually, two. And I still hit the wrong button sometimes. And I hit the outro video. But anyway, welcome and happy Monday. Today's topic is probably something we could talk about every day. It's about being you and recognizing that you being you is like the most amazing gift you could be to this planet.
Absolutely. Who was I having that? I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces to this too. It's being you. It's being observant to who you spend your time with.
Yes. I sent you that video just today. Did you have a chance to watch it?
I did.
With Steve Harvey?
I sent you a heart.
Oh, awesome. So
it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if I can play it because it might be copyrighted, but Steve Harvey gave this little voiceover of basically if you're an acorn and you're just put in this little pot, if the acorn doesn't grow into the oak, it's not the acorn's fault, it's the environment. And like if you being you is being, the people around you aren't receiving of it, like maybe changing your environment is something that is just necessary, having a bigger pot in order to spread your roots, in order to flower your gifts in this world. And it was like such a beautiful analogy, recognizing that the environment that you're in really caters to what it is that you're creating.
It absolutely is.
Or what you're not creating.
Or what's not happening for you and that you want to happen. And there's somebody, something I saw on Facebook yesterday. I had a pear and it was kind of I don't know if it was rotted or it had some sort of disease, and it had another pear next to it that was half healthy, but was starting to get the disease. So it's just like having a juniper tree, bush or whatever. If one catches a disease, the one next to it starts to catch it. It's just like hanging around somebody that has, the flu. If you're sitting right next to them, breathing all that stuff in, with time, very, very high chances you're going to get it unless you are so darn resilient. So who you surround yourself with is, I think, maybe where I'd like to start off, because that's really important for growth. And they've done studies on this too. Like they've put really wealthy people, I don't know if you know those studies, they put really wealthy people in the Bronx for like 2 months and their prosperity decreased.
No, I didn't see the studies, but I saw the movie Trading Places, which I think is like exactly similar. Yeah, it's really a personification of that exact thing. You take a guy from the ghetto and he runs an investment company successfully, and you do the opposite and the guy becomes a criminal. It was starring Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, and it is an amazing personification of this exact thing where your environment so much affects who you are in this world. Absolutely. To a point. The more conscious you are, the less that matters, but especially as you're stepping into your uniqueness, it's really important to surround yourself with people who are going to be supportive of that and not dismissive of that.
You have to be, I think, extremely resilient and have been doing a lot of work for a long time. But even the best of us, you got to double down when you're around an environment that's a little trickier to navigate. So being around when you're starting off and you're trying to, move forward, surrounding yourself with people that are abundant, that are happy, that are uplifting, rather than people that commiserate with you or pull you down, makes a huge difference. You will pick up on other people's vibes. You become who you hang around a lot of times. So
yeah. In AA, they have a saying where if you hang around in a barbershop long enough, you eventually get a haircut. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like whoever you're hanging around, whatever their jam is, it's gonna have an impact on you. And as you surround yourself in a better environment, though, it's equally important to not lose yourself with that crowd either. It's kind of a balance, because you spend your whole life getting programmed by family and friends and society and school and all that, and then in an effort to break free of that, you surround yourself with another crowd. But it's important to not get caught up in that either. Like finding and being your uniqueness, people that are empowering each other to be themselves, but not like me going to Dr. K, like, man, Dr. K's got it going on. Like, how do I do what she does? And now I'm trying to copy everything Dr. K does, and I'm just doing the same thing again, not being me, trying to be her, and losing myself in that. So it's like a delicate balance of being supported and not losing yourself in the support.
Well, I do that to you, Hank. I'm just wondering how I can be you. If you can let me in on those tips at the end of the show, that would be easy. How do I be like Hank?
You just have to shave your head. Then it's all done.
Get on that today. I don't know how good I'll look, but Hey. Yeah, those are things that are really important. The other piece that I think is really important is how many of us live the 9 to 5 job, 8 to 5, when we all have really, really amazing gifts, yet we don't look at them. We don't acknowledge them. We just live in this comfort zone and we don't tap into what our true gifts are and run with that and live an amazing life. So, what is your neighbor doing living 8 to 5 when you could be doing something so much greater and different, more different? And some people won't get there.
Yeah.
Everybody has the capability.
And one of the reasons this happens is at a very young age, and not all parents do this, but this is a commonality with children. And I've caught myself almost doing it on a couple occasions where a child is really inspired about something. They're really excited. And as a parent, we want to protect them. And we say, well, don't get your hopes too
Sup?
high.
Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up. And like we're already painting the picture of failure before it happens. But like let the child like be inspired and like, not try to soften the experience, because where would we be today if you had just gone for it? But we're almost already accepting, not everybody, but accepting the expectation of our parents that it's not going to work out. And then this, see, just like I told you, next time don't get your hopes up. And then in the corporate world, during training, one of our mentors came and says, what the secret to this job, man, you got to fly in the middle of the pack. You don't want to be too low where you're going to get called to the office. You don't want to be too high where they always expect it of you. You just got to run in the middle. So we're almost taught to be like the status quo, not to be an outlier. In Australia, they call it tall poppy syndrome, right? I think.
Yep. Yep. So that takes away from being the amazing you that you are. And a really great point on this is failure. I'm trying. Sarah's her first name. I can't remember her last name. She was the inventor of Spanx. So she has this whole story, and her parents really taught her, or her dad, I think, really focused on, you failed today, yay! Let's congratulate you on failing, because
Wait, what did she create?
Spanx. So it's
Spanx.
the leggings that all the gals wear now. They cut off.
I had
That's
no idea
kinda
where
where
you're
it
going with that.
started.
Sarah Blakely. I just googled
Yes,
it.
Sarah
Okay.
Blakely. I'm like, her name just wasn't coming.
And Spanx is spelled Spanx. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking the other type of spank. I'm like, whoa, what is she creating here? Like that. I'm not that I'm against any of that, but I was like, what's Dr. K talking about on today's stream?
Not that kind of stuff. I don't know. That's another stream for another
That's
time.
the after hour stream you got is invite only.
We'll do midnight streams
Yeah,
for
and that
those
one
that
we
stay.
wear latex.
But yeah, it's not about failing. Like when you failed, it was like, yeah, let's celebrate your failure, because we view failure as a horrific thing and nobody wants to fail, and then we develop a fear of failure. So a lot of people don't go for it. It's like, oh man, I'd really like to start this or cook for it, and nobody goes for it. And some people don't even get there to think about it at all. Every single person has a gift. You guys are all amazing. Look, think of it this way: there is nobody in the world that looks like you. Even if you have a twin, you both have different personalities, maybe a little something different, tweaky. There's nobody like you in this world. I mean, so how cool is that? You're unique
Yeah.
to everything. And
And
so why not tap into that?
and all of reality had to happen exactly the way it happened for you to be here now in the way that you are. Like if the Big Bang or a comet was just like a little bit off, even a half of a millionth of a degree off, and its trajectory changed throughout the cosmos that gave us the right gravity for the Goldilocks zone, none of us would be here. We are all walking miracles.
Yep. Yeah, that's so, yeah. Oh man, I talk about that all the time. Think about
Mhm.
what a walking miracle you are. Really, you're where our brain is moving, your lips are moving. There's biochemical reactions going on in your body 24/7. Like whoever the universe, God is, whoever you want to refer to, they're creating a miraculous thing like this that can repair itself. You cut yourself, you heal, you walk, you talk. I mean, like, it's amazing. Science will never, ever, ever catch up to anything. That's why we don't have cures for everything, because the body is so miraculous. It's constantly evolving and constantly healing on a whim if we need to. It's like you are a walking miracle. You are totally a walking miracle. Yet we don't ever tap into that. So how amazing are you?
Now, we've talked about the environment and the importance of getting into an environment that's supportive, but how does one actually figure out what their shtick is. Like, who am I really? I know this is a process that's different for everyone, and it's really a thing of self exploration. But maybe it would be beneficial to speak to, like, how does one even start the process of figuring out who they're not because they were taught to be something completely other than what they are, and then starting to really know what that is that you really truly came to be.
Asking questions. Who do I want to be? How do I want to feel? That might be a really easy place to start. How do I
Ooh,
want to feel? Versus if you're in a
yes.
bad spot, do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? So you're feeling crap, you feel lousy, you're feeling depressed. How do I want to feel? The brain automatically starts going to a different direction when that happens. When you start asking questions, the brain will start to produce answers. What do I have to do next? What are the next
Yes.
steps?
And I love that you said that because you've talked about this before. The one Indian gentleman that I've been following, that I can never remember his name, he would always talk about, you don't focus on the flowers, you focus on the process. So you might have this vision of who you're going to be or where you're going, but that question is like, what do you do right now as a contribution towards that target? And Bashar, who's another person that I've been sending like little videos all the time over the Dr. K, he talks about like vision boards, and the importance of the vision board is to get into the excitement of that dream, of that vision, but then let that vision go. You got the excitement, you got the feeling, and then you're asking, what do I need to do in order to really step into that? But then you let go of that because it could happen and manifest so much greater than anything you've ever imagined. And so to let go of the vision that you hold to get excited, just use it for the excitement, then let it go and be open to anything.
Yep, absolutely. And the people, places, things will show up. They do. If you choose to go after that,
Yeah.
if you choose to hold that vision. So asking yourself questions is a great way to get the mind sparked versus, oh, I'll never get there. No.
Yeah, except for
Just
don't
asking
ask why.
questions.
Don't
I
ask
don't
why is
ask
this
why.
not working, because it's like loops you back in.
Oh,
But
this way.
ask, yeah,
Like,
or
we,
whichever way, it loops
I'm
some
going,
way it loops you. But the thing is like but asking the questions, like they even show in topographical brain mapping, like an open ended question, like really what could be possible, that those types of things, like what could I be and do here that would create a different possibility. It really just engages the brain completely differently. We do have a comment from Brianna that I wanted to bring up. She said,
mm-hmm.
and Brianna is one of these people that shows up on my page all the time. She's totally showing up, and it's so amazing. I look
Yay.
forward to connecting with her more. But she said, I've noticed that there's almost a new American dream coming to light. Instead of the work for the man, marry the girl, buy the house, make enough to care for the kids, it's moving into a place of what to do what you love for a living and place in the place that you love.
Mm-hmm.
Generationally, it may be a hard shift, but I see this as a huge motivation and inspiration for the generations to come living through our gifts.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about relationships way, way, way back, and we talked, this stems from there. Relationships didn't, marriage, all that stuff didn't exist 8 million years ago. We talked about that whole thing.
Right.
Over time, we've
And,
kind of created this thing.
and even today, they don't exist in all cultures. Like the Carol of Peru, they don't have. There's only for political reasons that you would get married to, heal something with a village or whatever. But other than that, they don't even have marriage. It's a construct that we made up. Go
Yep.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, these are important points. So I feel like we're almost doing a 360 all the way around the
Mhm.
moon. We're recreating individuality. We're recreating, like, you can be whoever you want with whoever you want, and whatever goes goes for people. There's no judgment from me, but yet we have all these judgments. So yeah, we're women are handling kids on their own or being completely entrepreneurs on their own.
Mhm.
uh, COVID has created a lot of opportunities. I was talking to a builder the other day, and he's like, a lot of people have just started their own businesses out of this whole thing. And I think that's really, yeah, it is really important. The whole framework that we had 50, 60, 80, 100 years ago of, yes, the man provided, you just needed to get married, and women stayed at home or worked very little. All that has really, really shifted, and it's going to continue to shift, I think, into,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll just see
for
what that
sure.
all brings. There's more to
Because
come.
people are just really starting to get in touch with that still small voice within. That's what I love. What I think the
Hmm.
greatest gift of COVID was when people were totally taken out of their rhythm, taken out of their routine, whether or not you were home or not, it was still something completely different. There was no normality, and this little spark started to bubble up in people.
Yep.
And you know my acronym for COVID: creating opportunities via intuiting divinity. It's like people really, they don't know what they're looking for, but they're starting to look. And businesses like Goddess Elite and some of the other metaphysical places I know, they have just been so busy because people are coming in droves, like because they're exploring and they're looking for something that is going to start allow them to have this exploration with a lot more ease.
Absolutely. So ask yourself, how do I want, if you're feeling lost, how do I want to feel? Because you will be able to locate how you want to feel. Most people will be able to answer that question. Is this serving me? The way I'm feeling right now, is what I'm doing serving me?
Oh my
And
goodness.
your brain will come up with an answer. You'll get an immediate yes or no.
Yeah.
Whether you want to hear it or not, you're gonna get an answer from your
For
head.
for those of you who don't
So,
know, on another platform, I do like a 2 card tarot reading almost every morning. I've started to do a little bit more sound things, but it's been a repeating theme for the last month of walking away from what is working for you and starting to do what is serving you. And this speaks to Brianna's comment perfectly that this is how we were taught would work in the world, but we're not going to be a cog in the machine anymore. We're all going to become our own independent working, and that is really the nature of where we're going. And that's been a theme for the last month at least. And I think it's going to continue being a month for until humans finally wake up and go from the kingdom of me to the kingdom of we, where we're all being our unique selves, but find the place to create with each other instead of over each other.
yeah, and I just got to download the, yeah, that's kind of like the intuitive hit just came that this is going to be happening because as the world is shifting, there's so many different things. And I don't know how much of it's true, how much of it's not. Yesterday I heard that, this whole thing with Ukraine is creating the platform for cryptocurrency. So, more people are going to be maybe out of the workforce because the workforce is going to be changing. So you might be forced into finding a unique way of doing your thing because it's going to be needed. And yet we will all contribute to each other. So that's a very strong possibility. But that's
Yeah.
that's the way things are going to be unraveling here, and um, things continue to be pulled up for people to help them find their way. And sometimes it comes in a pretty package, and sometimes not.
Yeah. And here's a secret. If you are looking in the news and things and you don't like something that's being said, be an allowance of it. Don't resist it, because what you resist persists. And if there's a reality being painted that is not one that you prefer, rather than be like, no, that won't be my reality, you're actually giving that reality energy. Say, what would it take for me to experience something different? And now you're acknowledging like that is one way it could be, but I'm going to be an advocate for something that is even lighter showing up. So, because I know there's a lot of things that make people feel uncomfortable out there, but that's the way to
Yeah,
look at those things, because otherwise you might be feeding into the very thing in which you're looking to avoid.
that's what I see a lot of. Wherever you're funneling, we talk about this all the time. Where energy goes, your energy goes where your attention flow. I always get that backwards, but
Energy flows where your
your
attention
attention
goes,
goes. I don't know why.
and
I've said it
and
so many times.
and what
But
you
yeah,
resist persists. It's
yeah.
both of them really go. I think. Oh, here we go. I have it in the banner, so now you can read it. And not get,
Thank God you have that there. So wherever you fixate your attention, like I was out to dinner with somebody yesterday, a doctor friend of mine, and there's a lot of attention and focus on the conspiracy, on still what's going on and what's going on in the world, and I'm like, but that's where a lot of the attention. I have pulled
Mhm.
that attention back because for me to try to convince somebody of something, it's not my place. But
Yeah.
people are putting a lot of attention on different things, and I would encourage you to watch it all like a movie. That's how I
Yeah.
always tell my clients: watch it
Yeah.
all like a movie.
It is everybody's telenovela of the soul all happening at the same time in the same place, interacting with each other. So if we can not get caught up in the story, we can enjoy it for what it is, just like a TV show, and then go
Yeah,
about being us. And that's really the recipe for being in the world but not of it.
it's a TV show, maybe not a great scene. Who knows?
All my whole telenovela is like amazing. It's definitely going to be one for reruns. So
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So do your best to be you right now. And who, if you don't know who you are, then you ask yourself a question: how would I like to be? Everybody has a feeling of how they'd like to feel, how maybe they'd like to envision themselves, and that is within you. You just have to tap into it and say, okay, if I'd like to feel happy and powerful, what do I picture myself doing being happy and powerful? I don't know. Maybe I could, I'll plant flowers or something, and that makes me feel happy and powerful. Like for me, my bodybuilding makes me feel, I drop into that. I just know when I do that, I feel amazing. So Everybody has those things. It might be something really small. Maybe you make really good cups of coffee. Maybe you make a
Mhm.
really good fruitcake. I don't know. You have something that you really like to do that you just, when you do it, you're like, oh, this is so much fun. I really enjoy doing this.
Yeah. If you ask my son Max or Oliver at this point, if you ask either one, if I ask Max, what would you like to be when you grow up? He goes, happy.
It's a simple
He,
answer.
being this precedes doing this. Like, what if your inspiration, you're just being happy while you're cutting the hair, and it's so joyful because you get to connect with all these people while you're doing and being what you love. You know, like
Yeah.
it's really beingness. Yeah. And anyway, but anyway, I'm losing my train of thought. There's all this activity going on in the back. I don't
Yeah.
like Roddy's back here. Do you hear it in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're back doing something with all the stuff, you know, like but I'm a little bit distracted now. But we're right at the 20-minute mark. So let's ask, is there any final questions or do you have a final thought and we can just kind of wrap so I can not be distracted? Oh, I think they just left actually. The light just turned off. Or they're about to leave. Yeah, like there's like never anybody here. And like we're teaching a class yesterday and like there's all this commotion in the back and it's just like, whoa, this is timely.
Timely, right? Distracting,
Timely.
timely to get people distracted from where they need to be. Yeah, look at distractions. Look at where you're getting distracted also from. I think that's a good topic, a little point too. Look at where your
Ooh.
potential, somebody's distracting you from. So say you want to do something, but yet um, your husband needs extra attention, your kids need extra attention. Get back on track, because your subconscious will also pull you back and say, no, no, that's not safe. Okay, you're like, okay, I made a decision. I'm gonna go after my dream. And then all these little things happen. They're like little self-sabotaging gremlins that they're gonna pull you back. And that's your ego pulling you back, saying, no, 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 no. You might fail, don't do that. Handle it, keep moving forward. Handle it, keep moving forward. Don't let anything stop you, because these little stoppers will come up and they'll try to derail you from what you want to do, because it's uncomfortable, it's uncertain.
We ought to start a book club, Dr. K, because one of the books that we
Yeah.
could do, like seriously, it might be something. I know like Shannon does this, like with her business, and like there's like just different. They meet, they just do a different book every month. But there's one called Living Beyond Distraction. It's an access consciousness book, and there's 16 different things that they call distractor implants, like anger, hate, fury, rage, are all distractor implants that distract you from being you. And then there's like shame, guilt, remorse. Peace is one. Peace is a distractor implant according to Access. Business could be a distractor implant.
Mm,
So like it might be a very interesting book to take a
that
deeper dive
sounds
into.
like a great idea. We could take a little excerpt, like a little
Yeah.
study group.
Yeah. Sounds like
I
a
like that.
good plan. As long as you don't
Parking
get
lot
distracted.
item.
Parking lot. We have a lot of parking lot items.
As long as we don't get distracted doing that.
Cool. And any final thoughts? Because I got to get ready for my client soon.
All right. Yeah, ask yourself those questions, guys. Who do I want to be? How do I want to feel? Is what I'm doing right now serving me? You'll get answers.
Yeah. Oh,
Ask
and
them that question.
my final thought would be to just to ask the universe, like walk hand in hand with me, like my guides, angels, and teachers,
Oh,
walk
yeah,
hand in hand
yeah,
with me
yeah.
and contribute to whatever is going to allow me to have the highest expression of my authentic self, or something along those lines. I can be wordy, you know, but like you get the idea of it. Like be the open invitation first thing when you get up, because so often we don't say that, and then we're walking through just on your own. And how much more potent could your experience be if you were walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe co-creating versus like you're just being one little aspect of the totality of you.
Yeah, let's parking lot item. I'm so proud of you today, Hank, that you actually remember this one. Does he remember what the top
Wait,
routines, like routines to help you get better? Starting routines, because that's really key. Consistency of doing something will help you get better.
wait,
Will
which one's
help
the
you.
parking lot item? I'm actually writing it down. I'm like,
Today's
wait, today,
today's I
today's,
I
today's a
didn't
parking
think
lot?
you. No, no, I didn't know that you were actually going to remember today's item. I was going to
No,
message you
you
last
said
night.
it.
Like,
You said it to me in the messenger. I just scrolled
I
up.
know.
Like I
Oh,
don't give me credit. I didn't remember. I'm like I know she said it to me, but I don't remember what it is. So I like scrolled back and then I made it. So like no, I didn't remember. I remembered that you gave it to me.
oh, that's good.
So like that counts
That's
still.
progress.
I know, and it's all about progress, not perfection. If you wait to be perfect, you'll never start.
You
You
won't.
know,
You will
so
never start.
don't wait, create, come as you are, and that's like the first step is into being you is to accept where you are, be an allowance of where you are at this moment, and then ask who would I like to be, and start making those motions to become something greater than what you used to be.
Just go. Just go. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to be messy. You're going to figure it out and you're going to fine tune it. Trust me. I've done it.
Yeah.
I've been through it.
Just
So
go with the
parking lot.
flow.
Yeah. Routines to help your life get better. I don't know how we're going to formulate that, but that just came to mind. Like,
Yeah.
to
That's
do
our part two
something.
from our other routine conversation that we had. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And routines
Yep.
conscious, you know, after that, I don't think I told you that. So we streamed that one time of talking about routines. I go and I'm at the speedway getting gas, and you know, like some of those places have those little monitors, so they start talking about like turn your routines into ceremony to inspire you to new heights of life or something. And I'm like, even the
Only for
speedway gas
you.
station pump has this little thing on there talking about making routines like a ceremony. I'm just like, whoa, we just talked about this. Like when you are in the flow, there's like this energy, there's this vibration in the air that you're just in sync with things, and synchronicities occur and life becomes magic. So if you can, like Dr. K says, just go, like that is like so amazing when like life just starts to unfold then.
Yep. Yep. And starting to do something every single day. Like I have a routine I do every single morning. I have a routine I do every single night. Consistency of doing something, saying something habitually will start to create the results for you. Because if you do it one time and then I'll do it next week, you push the energy forward, but then you'll pull it back. So it's not, it'll like start at 100% and then it goes to 30, and then it'll go back to 100%, then it'll goes to 30. To create something, you need a consistent action yields consistent results. So starting something, whether that's maybe start the day with a smoothie rather than your coffee or something, to help whatever place you need to start making changes. Starting to create a routine around that is gonna, something you do every day to help you get to that destination.
And if you need help along the way, Dr. K and I both work individually with people. Our websites are right below us. It's also in the comments of the video. You can connect with us and reach out if you need anything. And you can also go back to YouTube and binge watch all of our content. We've been doing this once a week since almost since COVID started. We have a lot of stuff up there, so you can dive in. There's all the topics are good. I have to go in and start editing them, putting little 1-minute videos out. That would be
we need to do that. There's something about which vitamins to take. There's health stuff. There's emotion. We talk about it all. So all
especially
kinds
there's
of things to help you get better.
A 4-part series that comes to mind just to mention is with Jake Cunningham. We had him on and we did like a 4-part series on relationships. And somebody even messaged me the other day. They're like, where did that come from? I'm like, I believe they made it up. They're like, wanted a book. So I think Jake should write a book on relationships, because people were like, whoa, that's really good. And they wanted more. Anyway, we digress. But thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you. Well, we'll see you next Monday. And until then, be well. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.